In 1892, a young English doctor sailed across the Atlantic to visit northern Newfoundland and the coast of Labrador. Dr. Wilfred Grenfell, a member of the Royal National Mission to Seamen, came to assess the need for the mission services here in the northern region of Britain's oldest colony. He was shocked by what he saw. Thousands of fishermen and their families scattered along this subarctic coast with no hospitals nor medical services. Living conditions he found appalling. Illness and disease, especially tuberculosis, rampant. That summer, from the deck of the mission ship, Dr. Grenfell treated over 900 patients, exhausting all his medical supplies. Back to England he sailed, resolved to bring the plight of the people of northern Newfoundland and Labrador to the attention of the world. A charismatic speaker, Grenfell gave public lectures appealing for financial support and urging young doctors and nurses to join him on his mission. Lured by his passionate speeches and missionary zeal, many abandoned lucrative careers in the big cities to serve with Grenfell of Labrador, the legendary medical pioneer. A prolific writer, Grenfell's books about life in the North attracted a wide audience. He courted wealthy patrons. The Grenfell Mission became a popular charity with offices in London, New York, and Boston. Grenfell chose the tiny community of St. Anthony as his base. Here he built a hospital, an orphanage, established a cooperative, and 14 industrial centers. Farming was encouraged. Specialists were brought in to promote the production of local handicrafts. Grenfell even imported a herd of reindeer from Lapland. His vision, his energy knew no bounds. In 1914, the International Grenfell Association was formed to manage financial affairs and free the doctor to continue fundraising. Dr. Norman Pinder is the chairman of the IGA.
He went on incredibly punishing lecture tours, and he would speak several times a day in big cities throughout America and the UK. He raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. One initiative when the IGA was set up was to actually set off on a series of talks with the aim to raise over $1 million as an endowment, which could then be used by the International Grenfell Association to keep the, if you like, the business going. It would generate, at that time, about $50,000 a year, and that's what they were going to use as regular income to get away from this constant demand to actually be out raising money. So that was how the IGA gradually developed.
The International Grenfell Association financed and administered medical services in northern Newfoundland and coastal Labrador for over 65 years. But by the middle of the century, it was obviously time for a change.
By the 50s and 60s, the amount of money that was needed to deliver health services was more than the charities could raise. And so the IGA looked to help from the government, who progressively were putting in more and more money on an annual basis, to the point where in 1980 it became fairly obvious that the government ought to be taking over the running of the health services. So for the sum of $1 American, all the assets of the organization, that is the International Grenfell Association, were transferred over to the provincial government, who then took over the direct management and delivery of healthcare services in the province. It was at that point that the International Grenfell Association moved its focus to that of a charitable foundation, and it then used its own endowment funds to raise on an annual basis money that was then distributed to that same region, but to support grants and projects that helped in both community development, education, but also in health, but interpreting health in the widest possible sense, which was pretty much a public health message. Yes, it was about equipment in hospitals, but it was also looking at other forms of healthcare delivery, health promotion, and things like that. So there was a change of focus for the International Grenfell Association, which has been maintained to this day. In 1980, there were about 8 applications received, and a sum of about $200,000 was distributed. If you look to today, we will have this year about 70 to 80 applications, and we expect to distribute perhaps $1.2 to $1.3 million. So there has been a rapid escalation over the years of the support that IGA has given.
Since 1981, the IGA has awarded over 1,100 grants, totaling over $39 million. Of this, $25 million went to health, over $4 million to education, $7 million to community-based programs, and $3 million to scholarships and bursaries in the IGA service area. Dr. Wilfrid Grenfell, by then Sir Wilfrid Grenfell, died in 1940. His home in St. Anthony, now a museum, is visited by thousands every year. People come to research family history and to see the place the legendary Sir Wilfrid called home. His ashes and those of several others who served with him lie in a cliff face on a hill that towers over the community. Sir Wilfrid would scarcely recognize St. Anthony today. The town that grew around a cluster of mission buildings, hand-hewn from spruce at the turn of the last century, is now the hub of the north. Midst all the modern buildings, Grenfell is not forgotten. His image, his name is everywhere. Every year in Grenfell Park, the people of St. Anthony gather to celebrate their heritage. It's a great time for the kids. And for the older crowd, it's a chance to mingle and meet old friends. St. Anthony has a bit of an international flavor these days as the Grenfell name continues to attract medical professionals from different parts of the world. Nearby, a crowd of square dancers kick up their heels. It's Heritage Day. They say that Grenfell spent his 35th birthday with his dog team hauling spruce logs for the building of this, the first hospital in St. Anthony. That was over 100 years ago. Today, a modern hospital stands near the site. Named for the doctor who followed in Grenfell's footsteps, the Charles S. Curtis Hospital is now under the control of the Provincial Department of Health and Community Services. However, the International Grenfell Association is still involved, for it frequently responds to requests for funding. Over the years, Labrador Grenfell Health has received over $1.8 million from the IGA for dental health. Dr. Peter Hornet is Chief of Dental Services.
The IGA has been extremely important to us, at least I can speak to the dental service side of things. Over the years, the IGA has made significant funding available to the dental service. And I think one thing I want to say about the IGA is that they are an extraordinary organization in that they have recognized the very definite link between oral health and general health. And that is to say that you cannot have good general health without good oral health. And I think the IGA has very much helped us in trying to achieve optimal health for individuals and communities throughout this region. They've done that really in a variety of ways. In particular, they've very much helped us in almost all of our clinics throughout the region in modernizing our facilities, in purchasing equipment, in putting effectively services into effect which have ensured access to care for most people, for all people really within the region that we service. That's been a dramatic impact, and we're talking significant funds that have been given over to the dental service during my tenure with this organization.
Grenfell nurses once came from away. Today, many local young people are encouraged and supported in their careers by the IGA.
So all 11 of us did do that program. We all became certified as cardiovascular nurses, and we obtained that certification basically because of the funding from IGA.
The IGA has also granted funds to Labrador Grenfell Health for professional student travel and health intern programs. Summer work in the hospital has broadened the horizons of third-year nursing student Miranda Rose, in the Grenfell tradition.
I'd like to be able to travel, yeah, and go around the coast and the northern tip as well.
Be a travelling nurse.
Yes, traveling nurse, on the road, on the run.
Here in Roddington, Grenfell cleared land in which to grow vegetables for the hospital and orphanage in St. Anthony. He cut wood to build mission boats. Some time ago, the hospital in Roddington successfully applied to the IGA for funding. Violet Decker, manager for Grenfell Health, was delighted when this special parcel arrived.
It's a walk-in bathtub that we plan to install in our palliative room. So it's very important for our palliative patients. Patients who are dying rarely get in the bath. So with this tub, we can do it by lifting them on a lift, or make it more accessible so they can get in, sit in the water, and relax.
The IGA also supports specialized training for young women in remote communities. Tanya Simon, RN, explains.
We're a little bit isolated. We don't always have a doctor on hand. So I found that there was 12 modules, different steps that you went through. Certain types of emergencies, childbirth, adult health, children's health. It was a very broad range, and I did find it very helpful, because I didn't have any specific training for regional rural nursing.
And you enjoy your work here now?
I love my job, yes. I can't imagine doing any other type of nursing.
The IGA Board of Directors meets twice a year, in the spring to focus on the awarding of grants, and in the fall to review the success of the grants of the previous year. In 2013, the fall meeting was held in Happy Valley Goose Bay. 11 directors attended, from the Grenfell Association of America, the New England Grenfell Association, the Grenfell Association of Great Britain and Ireland, and representatives from Newfoundland and Labrador. Volunteers all. It was a great opportunity for the group to see for themselves how some of the IGA funding is being used. Here at Labrador Grenfell Health, they are greeted by CEO Tony Wickham.
The support that Labrador Grenfell Health has received from the International Grenfell Association greatly assists health professionals and support staff in upholding our vision of healthy people living in healthy communities. This is a unique and interesting part of the world which is diverse and rich in history and culture. The people in this region have been extremely fortunate to benefit from the work of the International Grenfell Association since its formation 100 years ago. Because every time you walk into that facility, realizing you're there, yes, for health care, but you also get an opportunity to look around and see the vision of people and to reflect on that great land, and the big land as they call it.
While Grenfell may be best known as a medical missionary, he was also a passionate social reformer who believed education is the key to social change. The International Grenfell Association continues to support educational initiatives. Here in Queen of Peace Middle School in Happy Valley Goose Bay, the IGA has sponsored a program to help students use modern technology to improve reading habits. Teacher Ms. Kirsten Butler explains.
Maybe you could tell me what's happening here?
Sure. Over here we have our listening center, and we have it set up in the library today. And 4 grade 5 students at the moment are using it, and they're listening to a CD of a book that they've chosen. They each have their own book. We have 4 books per CD. And they're listening with the CD player and wireless headset, I should say. And they're enjoying a book together. They're sharing a book together and listening to the story being read to them. So, excellent purchase and well used here at our school.
So it really works. It helps the kids?
It definitely does. They enjoy it very much. And we used it a lot last year when these students were in grade 4, and we'll continue to use it now that they're in grade 5.
Peacock Primary School in Happy Valley Goose Bay has also received funding from the IGA. Here the theme is character development. Buddy, the school mascot, plays a big role. Dr. Pinder happened to drop in on the day the young people were introduced to the real live Buddy. Sandra Broomfield is the principal of Peacock Primary.
Oh, boys and girls love Buddy here. I mean, we really work Buddy to our advantage that, you know what, he represents appropriate, safe, and kind, and he allows boys and girls to know that, you know, always ask yourself if what you're doing or saying is appropriate, safe, and kind, because we all want everybody to be a friend, be a buddy.
Bye. Bye, buddy. Bye, buddy. Bye, buddy.
The directors of the IGA and supporting associations also visited the Innu School in Sheshashi. There are 2 languages and a traditional way of life to be honoured, while introducing young people to new career opportunities. The teachers here are embracing educational technologies with good results. The visitors were fascinated by the iPads funded by the IGA. Teacher Michelle Bakey demonstrated. Besides the introduction of technology as a teaching tool, the IGA in recent years has also supported proposals to fund reading programs and to acquire books for the library. Grenfell was a determined social reformer, encouraging communities to establish cooperatives and home industries. Specialists were brought in to help develop and find markets for the beautiful handcrafted materials made by the women of the North, an industry that is still thriving. Women here in Flowers Cove and other communities up the Strait of Belle-Isle were famous for their sealskin boots. In fact, St. Barnabas Church was built through the sale of sealskin boots. It's still known as the Skin Boot Church. Methinks Grenfell would be proud. But the needs of communities change. With the collapse of the cod fishery and young people moving away, there was a real need for a home for the aging population. Sue White works at Ivy Durley Place.
We saw like a lot of our residents leaving the area and going to St. Anthony and going to probably Corner Brook to find a home. The area had rallied to get this place on the go, this personal care home. We've got grants from IGA and we've really appreciated that. It came in really handy. And it keeps our people, our seniors here in this area.
A lot of older people fear going into a home of any kind, but how do you find the reaction here?
They're not very long before they adjust quite well. A lot of them come in here, they don't want to leave their homes, but when they come in here, they're not really leaving their families because their families are here in this area. So they get daily and weekly visits from them, which is good. If they were in further away, they probably wouldn't be lucky enough to be able to get those visits from their family, right?
Endley is a fishing community in White Bay. A few years ago, the local town council felt there was a real need for recreational facilities, especially for young people. Through fundraising, local donations, and a grant from the IGA, the dream has come true. The Endley Youth Centre is quite popular with young people. Stephanie Twine is coordinator.
So the kids really like this, I guess, do they?
They love the Wii. Our Wii is our new purchase, and the Just Dance game keeps them moving and keeps them running, and we get to laugh at them doing all the silly moves, so they just love it, right guys?
Yeah. You like it?
Yeah, a lot.
This is the Boys and Girls Club of St. Anthony. It's a place where youngsters come to play games, to exercise, to meet and mingle, and to dance. Colleen Loader explains.
We focus mostly on children and their well-being. We offer a number of different programs, everything from healthy eating, physical activities, really big. We're now seeing a lot of children that are obese, and of course that contributes to a lot of health problems. So now we're getting the kids really active. We're doing Kempo lessons, we're doing dance lessons. Oh, the kids just love it. Our membership, when we started out in 2000, we had a membership of about 35 children, and today our registration is 235.
The kids here certainly aren't glued to iPads or computers. They weren't turned into couch potatoes. But after all that dancing, the couch feels pretty good. The Friendship Centre in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Many Aboriginal families visiting from the coast of Labrador stay here. The IGA has provided financial support, flooring, bedding, mattresses, furniture, home-cooked meals and transportation at a reasonable cost. Karen Gowdy is one of the centre's administrators.
Established mainly to provide assistance to Aboriginal people moving from a rural area to a more urban area, and we provide services to them that will help them adjust, refer them to services that they need and things like that. We have a hostel where we provide accommodations for Aboriginal people coming for medical issues. We have expectant moms who can stay up to 30 days or more. And, women, children, elderly people, basically all of the people from the northern coastal communities need to come to this area for medical reasons. So we help fill that gap for the people, and they have a comfortable place to stay and a safe place as well, where we have zero tolerance for alcohol and drugs. So when people come, they feel safe and comfortable.
The community of Conch was originally a summer home to migratory fishermen from Brittany and Normandy. This fascinating and long-neglected chapter in our history is now receiving the attention of scholars and artists. The women of Conch decided to celebrate their French heritage through embroidery of historic themes. Skilled fingers, stitching, sewing, telling the story of those who came here to catch and cure codfish long ago. Joan Simmons is coordinator.
In 1886, there was a man here from the French Navy by the name of Lieutenant Koenig, and he done some beautiful illustrations of the French shore of Newfoundland. And right now, all those illustrations and watercolors are in the archives in Ottawa. So we received a grant from the International Grenfell Association to reproduce this book, but reproduce it with using a different kind of medium for us, because he done his in sketches and we are embroidering all of them. This down the other side of the wall, we're doing the Treaty of Utrecht. This year is the 300th anniversary of that treaty, which actually defined the French shore of Newfoundland. So we're doing 9 panels depicting that part of the history.
Introduced by Moravian missionaries generations ago, brass band music has long been cherished by the Inuit of northern Labrador. In recent years, the tradition faded, but it's now being revived, much to the delight of the older people especially. After a few weeks' practice, the new brass band is enriching the lives of the people of the North. It's not just the old-timers captivated by the music. It's opening doors for the young, too.
I used to be in the school. I am in the school junior band. It's in our tradition.
The IGA is proud to become one of the sponsors of the Nunatsiavut Brass Band. The Charles Andrew Centre in Sheshatshiu is a treatment and healing centre for young Innu children suffering from various addictions. It's named for Charles Andrew, a young man who received a national award for his work in fighting alcoholism in his community. Director Iris Allen answered questions from the IGA visitors about the land-based healing program, where young people travel to the country to learn from the elders.
How long is the program for? Like 3 months? Or?
It's 16 weeks.
16 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they come here to live for 16 weeks.
How do you decide whether you think it's been successful?
We do client satisfaction surveys, we do evaluations throughout, and then we do a really big thing that involves the community, their family, and any guests that they might want to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then the staff will talk about how they've done, what they were like when they come into the program, what they were like when they left.
In a huge tent-like room decorated by the students, Dr. Pinder asked Miss Allen to sum up the treatment and what it offers.
I guess I'm a strong believer in the natural healing process that takes place on the land. They go through group therapy sessions here. They do one-on-one counseling here. They do all kinds of activities here to help them through their healing journey. When they go out on the land, they're there for a week. They either stay in a cabin or in a tent. They learn all about surviving on the land. They learn how to respect the animals and the trees and the plants, everything. And they learn from the elders. The elders teach them everything on the land. They do storytelling. They do crafts, traditional crafts. They go hunting, fishing, whatever. It depends on the season. Like we live by seasons. In the summer, we always have fish and salmon. In the winter, we always have caribou, and then in the spring, it's seals. It's just, we try and teach them this is how we used to live, and it's a good life. And I think we can get youth back to their roots of who they are, where they come from, and feel proud of being an Aboriginal person. And I really, really believe that.
It's been a wonderful visit. All I really wanted to say was, on behalf of all of the board, how much we appreciate what you do. You are to be congratulated. I think you do a wonderful job. And I know the need is there, but you're meeting it. So you have our support. And thank you very much for showing us around.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Wilfrid Grenfell. He devoted his life to the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. A physician, he treated the ill and built hospitals. A social reformer, he fought poverty and encouraged self-reliance. An eloquent speaker, he brought the economic plight of his adopted homeland to the attention of a caring world. The great man is gone, but his work lives on through the grant-giving organization that bears his name. Working in partnership with government and other agencies, the International Grenfell Association continues to support initiatives that benefit the health, education, social and cultural well-being of the people of northern Newfoundland and Labrador.